States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we'll now review the consent agenda. Any questions on finance report from Sandra? Or the building report?
Quick question to David. The safe build, we talked about it last month, and I know there was also an email that was received recently where we hired somebody.
Yes.
That's addressing this line item, right?
Yes, it is.
Okay, that was the question.
What was the steel door on the Salt building? That was $34,000?
It was, that was, but that was a part of the overall, I mean, that was what really pushed the price up. There's over $200,000 for the whole building. So we originally were gonna have like a tarp in front of it, but that's no good. So we bought a steel door, which is 17 feet tall and 16 feet wide, and it costs every bit of $35,000.
Wow.
But it is really nice.
And it keeps the salt
Dry.
dry.
Yeah, it's all, they can push a button and raise it up, and it's.
So we're ready to go, right?
Yep, it
Winter?
actually has about 300 tons of salt in it right now.
Wow.
Really? Oh,
Yes,
good.
they're ready, yeah, go take a look at it, it's ready to go, it's really a beautiful building, and
You have some stored at the township?
for emergencies.
Oh,
In addition to, why wouldn't you just have it here?
Well, because you never know if we use all our salt and something happens where we can't get a salt delivery, we're not gonna leave the city without salt. So, yeah, we've had that for years.
But this will hold a lot more than 300, correct?
This will hold about 400 tons of salt, so it's about a third, to answer Commissioner Fisher's question, maybe even a little less than a third of what we need. Or more than a third of what we need.
So why not add the 50 just to here for the extra?
No, we have about 450 saved. Is it 450, Sandra? Yeah.
So more than what would fit in the shed.
Oh, okay, I heard you just had.
So the
mentioned
township
50
has
in the
been very
township.
gracious to allow us to keep about 450 tons of salt. And we've kept it there
Do
for
we
years.
pay for that?
Well, we bought it, but do we pay?
I mean, do we
for the
pay them
storage?
to
No.
store it?
No, they allow
Oh,
us.
okay, great.
they allow us to
Oh,
store
no
it.
problem. That's so nice. Okay. Great.
that's good. I see, Chief, that you attended the Urban Deer Coalition meeting
Yes, ma'am.
in wildlife. Did we talk about coyotes at all?
Ma'am, it's scheduled for future years. They're working on the deer issue this year with a anticipation to work on future wildlife issues, including the coyotes.
You know, we lost another dog in the neighborhood to a coyote.
Yes, ma'am, we're looking into it.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
And the Dream Cruise went well with no incidents?
Overall, it was a success. There were the routine incidents that were handled either by the target jurisdiction or the jurisdiction of authority, or through mutual aid agreements, through all the pre-plans that were put in place to host the event.
Okay.
There was a change to the minutes. The motion regarding the polling location for precinct 2, I made that motion, and it was supported by Commissioner David Fisher. So that it was just a matter of correcting the names for the parties that made the motions.
Going back to your report, Chief, today I attended a CPR training, and it was for an organization that's all 48304 people, and we had to go to Birmingham to, do we have any, my question is, do we have any training for our residents for CPR on a regular basis, or do we have any program set up
information on that man, but we internally, don't train, civilians or the community at large.
Is there anybody in the area that we could refer them to?
Yes, we do have those references, and if someone wants to call us, we will get them that information.
We do have, okay,
We
sources
have-
for them to learn.
We have a certified instructor that instructs our personnel and certifies us, but we have, community resources also that we would be more than happy to provide.
Okay, so if someone called and asked for that, they would have a resource. Great,
Yes, ma'am.
thank you. Any other questions about engineering?
Just a quick one for Sandra. The revenues, I know this is August, but by October, you expect to have most of the revenues from tax? Is that how that plays out in the budget?
Yes. What happens is I distribute twice a month, starting in July. So we have collected the money, it just hasn't been dispersed, which includes into the city's operating. So yes, to answer your question, yes, October should be a good time.
Yeah, I was gonna comment that the cash position of the city is looking quite good right now.
Yeah. The tax collection's
Yeah.
been
But
quite
that's
busy.
gonna pass through that, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Mhm.
we're at the front end.
Well, I just had a quick question too. I was wondering, this is just from my understanding, the training chief that you're taking, David, are you going to be the acting?
No.
or how's that working?
So, first of all, I wanted to say, I do appreciate Chief King for taking on this training. I think it's really important for the department. I was in the same position as him years and years ago, because we both came from the police field, but the chief is in the fire academy. He'll be in there for the next 9 weeks. And I did it the easy way, he's doing it the hard way. But I think it's a great thing, but he has 2 captains that can run the department just fine. I would appreciate if the commission has any questions about public safety, just to contact me. And I'll be working through the chief, and he'll be working through his captains. We like the chain of command, that's where we come from. So when I need something from the public safety department, I talk with the chief, and he has access to talk to me during the day. But of course, if there's emergencies, I'll handle it with his captains. But it's an important thing. I think it's great for the department that the chief is also a firefighter. So I commend the chief for doing it, and I think his staff also appreciates it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief King. May I hear a motion to approve the consent agenda for September 9th, 2025 as presented?
Move to approve.
Mayor, if
Oh.
I may, I believe there was a request to amend the minutes.
Oh, so how do
That should be taken off the consent agenda. Approve consent agenda A and B, and then let's do a separate motion on C.
So should I first make a separate motion to approve the new changed minutes?
I guess what I would suggest doing is just do a motion, consider a motion to approve consent agenda A and B. Take the vote on that. and
I need
then-
to describe
and
what
then
is A
address
and what
C.
is B. A is,
I'm sorry? A is.
oh, I see, the
bills
first
payable,
part
Yeah.
of the,
Bills
okay.
and
Yeah.
payable, yeah.
And then do a separate motion on C, which is just the minutes.
Which is D on here, correct?
No,
What are you looking?
he's looking at this right here.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
So,
So I'd like to hear a motion to approve the consent agenda for September 9th, 2025 for bills payable A and department reports B.
I move to approve the consent agenda for parts A and B.
I second.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay, consent agenda parts A and B are approved. Now I'd like to hear approval of the adjusted minutes for the August 12th, 2025 commission meeting. May I hear a motion to approve those minutes, the new minutes?
Move to approve the amended minutes for September 9th.
Those in, someone second?
I second that.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay. The Section C, the minutes, the new minutes are approved as well. We'll now open the floor to public comment. If you'd like to address the commission, please come forward. State your name and address for the record, and please limit your remark to 3 minutes. Thank you. Commission will now hear a presentation by HRC regarding current stormwater retention standards.
Well, Dave, kick this thing off and then I'll go.
Well, I wanted to mention to the commission that, that we've looked pretty hard at the stormwater mitigation efforts that we've done over the last couple of years with planning commission approvals. And I think Jamie's gonna report on that. And I think we're successful with that. But it's kind of interesting because this last planning commission meeting, every single application, the planning commission discussed water mitigation, water running off the property or staying on the property. And so we really can tell that it's very important to the planning commission, the city commission, to manage this water. And I think that that even Commissioner McCarthy had mentioned in one of the applications about making sure that the residents are protected around it, and so that is something I think we've looked pretty well. And I think what we want to do is we want to discuss what we've looked at, and if we feel it's necessary to make any modifications to ordinances, because that's a big deal if we need to. But at this point, I don't think we need to, and I'd like Jamie to talk about it.
So, thanks. So, I gotta put my readers on. I turned 49, and immediately with this, we turned 50, and it's bad. It's so bad. So, okay, so I want a little bit of background. So, drainage and runoff and all the stormwater management is not, as simple as we all think, right? There's a lot of things and nuances that go into it, which I'll explain in a minute. And the idea is it has to be balanced with the city's master plan, what's expected of these residents. For example, right? You go into Rudgate, you go into Haverhill. We'll talk about that a little bit. Bartell. You go into those subdivisions, and you expect a certain size home with a certain size amenities. Otherwise, your zoning and your planning wouldn't. Right? If I came in with a 1,200 square foot ranch, right? It kind of everyone would go, wait, hold on a second, right? So there's an expectation, and I want the planning commission, the city commission, others, that there's an acceptable amount of runoff that we have to do in this city if we encourage people to have homes of this size and whatnot. Especially if you're in a subdivision that's been developed with stormwater management, built into a newer subdivision, to add more on top of that, when it's already been contemplated, seems to me that we're starting to dip into that area of reasonableness and allowing people to develop their property, right? But really go back to that do no harm principle. But if you're higher and someone's lower, the water is going to go that way, right? So our job has always been to make sure that that's reasonable, acceptable, and within that balancing act between somebody has the right to build a home on top of the hill and drain. Okay, I'll let the legal people talk about that, but what do we do to look at that? And I think that gets lost a little bit when we talk about just more is better. More is not always the greatest idea, right? And because of trees or because of other impacts, or just asking applicants to do too much. So what's that level of reasonableness? So we talk about that in these kind of loose terms, but I really want to tell the commission that there's a lot behind it that we do, and we're trying to educate the planning commission. Or today I mentioned a few things today, and I'll keep doing that. I don't think an ordinance amendment, the grading ordinance, stormwater management ordinance protect the city, but to go prescriptive, which I gave Dave examples of if this then that statements. I love those statements because it's easy to tell applicants. Applicants love those statements because they can go, if I'm going to do this, I should be expected. I don't believe anyone should come in, Dave and I have talked about this a lot, no one should have to come into office hours or seek legal opinion as to interpretation. They should be able to plan their home, plan their development, plan their expansion, their addition, and read the ordinance. They don't, but read the ordinances, read the rules and regulations, and understand that, right? So but prescriptive in Bloomfield Hills, especially for single-family residential homes, is very difficult, because your single-family residential homes are not ever the same, right? They're not, it's very unique. So a little bit, just a quick little bit of background. I'm gonna keep hammering this point home. It's never about the rainfall. It's about the runoff. Okay, we mix those two things up interchangeably. They're not. So yes, you have to have rain to have a runoff. Okay, I get that, but it's not, it's really the runoff that causes the problem. We always talk about the rainfall, the rainfall, the rainfall. Well, an inch of rain on frozen ground on a construction site that has not been restored is going to act different. One lot, and they developed it. We treated that like more of a development or like a subdivision than we did two perfectly normal lot splits, if that makes sense, right? On the surface, very much just lot splits. But we had said, hey, this kind of development, now you're getting kind of two of these houses, beautiful homes, going to the same outlet where we know we're a little concerned about that outlet. And they came up with a rain garden approach or whatever. So when we see lot splits or any commercial development, that's handled kind of a little bit differently. And that we're allowed to do that under the ordinance. So we have to balance between the owner's rights, the reasonableness. I can't, my staff used a cricket and gave me a Yeti mug that says there's always a bigger storm, right? Well, not really. I just know, because I've done it so many times, and I have the analysis in the back, that this is adequate, this is reasonable for this applicant's request. I said that a bunch of times today. This is reasonable to their request to do. And so far, so good. But we'll get somebody who says, I'm not going to do that, and they'll have to go to planning commission, or they'll have to come to the city commission or something. But that doesn't happen that often anymore. People kind of understand that if they come here, they're going to do a little extra. Even if they don't have to come before planning commission, for example. If it meets all our ordinances, and we kind of look at it and go, well, you're moving this or you're doing this, let's add some in there. But so anyways, Dave, do you want to comment at the bit there?
No,
I'm highlighting things, so I'm wondering if you're checking off your list on me.
Well, you just said a couple things that kind of resonated with me, engineering judgment. And so, the administration's worked very hard with the engineers in their letters when they go to the planning commission, so that the planning commission can read that letter and understand that they have reviewed this, and they're saying that it's gonna be okay, whatever that is. And that was really important to me.
And we have to rely on that.
And that was not really easy for me to get by this guy. It took me a long time, probably a couple months. But I finally got it, and, but the reason I got it is because we have an expert here, and none of us are engineers or his type of engineering, and they don't represent the city. So there's a few things that are concerning to me: the legal risk, the fairness, and the expertise or the record. So in the planning commission, we have he's creating the record of saying that this is going to be okay. The planning commission could always ask questions and say, should we do more or whatever. But I've talked to Jamie to say when you provide the letter, that is what should be done. And my concern is that, and it hasn't happened recently, and at this planning commission, all the conversation went really well, and the questions were really well. But my concern is that if we're asking for more, just to ask for more, because asking for more is always better, but I don't think it's legally the right thing to do for us in the city. I don't know, Mark, if you.
Well, and your point, sometimes you have to take out a tree to put in a
Right.
leaching basin, and you don't want to do that either, so.
Well, and I think it's also important that if there's gonna be a requirement imposed, that there be a basis for that. And I think if it's just so that we can say that we required further abatement of stormwater, then if you've got an expert opinion that something's sufficient, that should be it. You've got a record you rely upon. If you're going to be starting to ask for more, it makes it harder to defend if there's a challenge to it, in part because the immediate argument's going to be, this is what your expert said, why are you requiring more without some type of rationale for that additional requirement? So I think that's important, but also I think there's also an enforcement aspect of it too, is that all these improvements, they're not always going to work forever unless they're maintained. And so there needs to be some mechanism to maintain all these additional improvements. So, you know, if there's a simple rationale with an expert opinion backing it up, it's gonna be easier then in the future to enforce a maintenance type
Yeah.
request.
Yeah, I didn't think about that, but anyways, so this whole thing came full circle that we feel that what he's doing or what his team's doing is the right thing. And by looking back at these applications, that we feel it's working. So there's no need to change the ordinance, in our opinion.
In,
Well, I have complete respect for you, and I always
that's my
respect
team, yeah.
you and Leah. You have great solutions for water runoff, and they're always seem to be right-sized. But what if you retire? I mean, you know,
Yeah, so
you were
we-
very wise. You know our city very
Now
well.
that you're 50, I mean.
Yeah, I know. I played that lotto, though. I gotta be honest. I played that $1 billion lotto because I was like, oh man, can you imagine? So no, the greatest thing about HRC, and you can ask around, is to use a sports metaphor, like next person up, right? Like I took over for, we went through 3 partners in my career, and 2 big managers who managed everything. And I don't think you miss a beat, right? We have good staff. We have Leah, and she's got our grads, Madison. We always have a grad engineer dedicated specifically to the city. Okay, so what I mean by that is we don't have these plan reviews out to 5 people. We train somebody the way we want it, and we keep them involved. So the guys will, code enforcement or whatever, Dave, or we'll call Madison, hey, come look at this, right? So or Leah, or I'll do it. But what this made us do, and what I found was, as I was collecting my thoughts, I kind of created this outline, right? So I handed it to Madison. I go, "Are you doing all this?" She said, "Yep." And then she says, "I'm actually doing this," and she put some other things in there. So we will memorialize it, but I don't think that rises to the elevation of ordinance, right? I think it's more if we had design standards, and if you had so much development or a growing community, up in the Independence Township, Clarkson area, or Macomb, we would have a book of guidance, right? That was like standards, if you will. We don't need that here. We have our ordinances, we have our standard details, we have our standard practice. Just never seemed to be appropriate. But I think it's doing a good job. And I think I'll go back and the back and forth Dave and I had on that was a 2-way education, understanding what he was looking for, understanding the fact that I can't stand up here and ever go, do you swear this, Jamie, do you certify that this is never going to be a problem? Then I have to start going, it depends, right? An 11-year storm versus a 10-year storm on frozen ground. Oh, the silt fence not in. Oh, they didn't even, those nuances, and Dave and I worked that out and it's good to keep saying that over and over again. No, I'm not going to certify the planning commission. There'll never be flooding or whatever until you certify that it's okay. Here's the storm event, right? Or here's the conditions. But we're doing the right job, and staff is doing the right job. The building people are doing the right job. Administration, I think we're working our way through it very well. And so we kind of gloss over it a little bit sometimes at Planning Commission, but there's a lot of thought to it, and we're working on our letters to emphasize it, to provide more of those details. My presentations today and the applicant is doing this to make sure, that it's out and this is what they're doing and it's a reasonable standpoint. So we're trying to get better on that. We're working on our presentation a little bit better so that Planning Commission, City Commission, are comfortable with it. There's going to be some weird ones, and we'll have to deal with them. There's no cookie cutter homes going on in Bloomfield Hills right now. So,
But we do have quite a few homes being built for our size city. So.
yep. And we look at every
It
single
is
one.
important, right?
We look at every single one, and we gauge it based on what it is, where it is, how it is, and on all of these characteristics. And what's nice is that your future residents or existing residents doing stuff in the city generally understand and know, and it's in, like to add trees or to add one more basin when they know they're asking for, a 10,000 square foot addition. They're very good, right? And we've trained their engineers and architects pretty well too, where it used to be where we had to ask them for everything. Now they kind of come in with one and we're like, we need one more, you know what I mean? So they're kind of getting it. And I thought Planning Commission saw that tonight, where a second, third presentation got 2 of their requests out, seeing what was happening at Planning Commission. So I think they're understanding a little bit better, but it will never go away. There'll be drainage and issues. We'll just deal with them as we come.
The problem, I see it as twofold, is we don't have anybody coming in. Everybody's coming in buying a 4,000 square foot home and building a 10,000 square foot home. I mean, no one's buying or building a smaller home at all. So that's one. Number two, I think people, I mean, I've learned this through the years of being on the planning commission, but when they say when they remove those big trees, the water, where's it gonna go? Because those trees suck up a ton of water. And that's where they're saying, well, I'm just gonna cut down these trees because this is where I want my house, and then you've disturbed the property, and it's like, where's the water gonna go, right? It's gonna go. So those are challenges for us and for, you know, the new residents that come in to the city. But I think like today's example, where you had two cases where you knew there was gonna be a water runoff, and you had suggested the
Yeah.
leach, you
Leach
know,
and basins.
leach in basements or in basins, and I think we just need to be more conscious and do more of those.
Yep.
Cause it's even when, you know, Matt said, oh, these are deciduous trees, or they're scrub trees or whatever. Well, it's a tree and it sucks up water.
And to that end, we have to respect the people coming in to build and the people who've been here for a while, right? But, been around for 30-some years, not 30, 20, whatever years, almost 30. You can't say to me, like, this has never happened before, right? Or
Yeah.
you can't, it's very difficult to say, like, someone come in here, I've never had water in my backyard till this year. Well, how long have you lived here? 2 years. Well, listen, you haven't hit the big one yet, right? You know, but because we know those, because staff knows what those issues are, we tend to give them a little bit more attention, but we're not gonna let them an otherwise reasonable solution, you know, like you point out the low-lying land, that's right, it's gonna be there. So what we do in perception is really, I never had a problem till they built. Well, we all know that, you know, like, no, there's always been water back here. I can show you the photos, because I've been back there, you know, so the system's working well, and I think, and we're gonna do a better job explaining it without just slowing every planning commission meeting down, every request down to go through the nitty-gritty. It's just being handled in the background. We're gonna try to do a better job explaining it. So
Okay.
I'd be happy to answer any other questions. Dave, anything else on your list?
Well, thank you for.
Thank you for being.
I saw him over there. I'm like, okay, the boss is happy.
Move on.
Great, thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, the commission will now consider approval of the Oakland County Equalization Assessing Contract.
Thank you. So the commission is already aware from previous communications that our assessing fees are increasing. Oakland County came to us in May and advised us that our fees, along with all their other communities, were gonna go up in the city's 46%, or around $20,000. So upon hearing that, we started looking at all of our options. We spoke to a couple of different assessing companies, and we went out for an RFP, and unfortunately we didn't receive any responses. So, but the good news is Oakland County has always provided us with exceptional service. They've been our assessors for a long time. They have a lot of knowledge, both of the city and just their expertise. I've worked with the county for about 15 years now, and I can't say I've ever had a negative experience with the assessing team. Actually, I've had very positive experiences with them, and you know, not having any quotes is disappointing because we don't have a way to measure the expenditure that they put in front of us. But I highly recommend that we stay with the county. At this point, it's really our only option, but even moving forward, they do such an exceptional job that I would recommend that we can, approve
Did they
the
say
3-year
why
contract.
Why they increased so dramatically?
Yes, they actually, it sounds like that they looked at not just assessing, but other departments as well. But assessing, they weren't recouping all of their money or all of their funds for their services. So the unfortunate thing is they came to us at the last minute. We didn't appreciate that piece of it, nor did the other communities. So a lot of communities started looking elsewhere as well. Some did find services, but we just didn't have any bids. And the two companies that I did reach out to, they just didn't, one didn't return my call and the other one didn't have the capacity to take on another community. But I think getting back to your question about why they did it is, I think they just needed to recoup, and they pushed it through quickly. And it just happened to be at our budget time and a lot of the other communities' budget time. But we did include it in the budget because we did know just before, the budget was passed. But so I think the plan moving forward will be to, continue to, or try and have more of a conversation with them. But I do know the assessing team themselves, they weren't involved in it. It was the finance committee and the commissioners that passed it. But, we'll continue to have conversations, especially as it comes due and before the 3 years are up, and to try and prevent the surprise, increase.
Do we know if they're treating other customers the same as they're treating us in terms of the pricing increases?
Yes, it's every community is now has the same cost.
Same cost.
Yes, it's a per parcel cost that they put to all communities. So they don't look at the number or the size of the parcel or the complexity of the parcel. They just have put a flat fee across.
So it's like hurting smaller lot communities a lot harder, correct? Because it's per lot, correct?
I believe that's how
that's true.
it came out, yeah.
We don't have that many, do we?
Right.
Yeah.
Our larger lots.
Yeah,
Our lack of density helps us in this
Plays
case.
to our advantage.
Yeah,
Yes.
I did provide, in one of my weekly reports, I did provide a report that the county did to explain the reason. I can forward that to you.
Yeah, it might be.
Oh, it is what it
Okay.
is.
So
Okay.
I believe I need to make a motion to approve the contract.
Yes.
Okay. I'd like to hear a motion to approve the contract as presented.
I'll make a motion. The city having found no alternative provider for these services after exercising due diligence, I move that we approve the contract for the Oakland County Equalization Division Assistance for Real and Personal Property Assessment Administration Services in the form included and at the rate stated in the contract, which is included in our agenda packet tonight, which has been approved by our city attorney, and authorize and direct our city manager, David Hendrickson, to execute and deliver the contract to Oakland County.
Is there a second?
Second.
Those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, say nay.
Thank you.
Motion carries. Thank you. Commission will now consider the approval of the Encode Plus ordinance service contract.
Thank you, Mayor. We're pretty excited to get to obtain our zoning code reorganization tool. And we went through reviewing the product, a couple of products, and then we went through reviewing the additions, and we're at the point now, we'd like the city commission to consider the actual contract. So we did receive the contract from Encode Plus and provided to our city attorney. He actually included his review letter in your packets. He did find a couple of issues, and we believe we corrected those issues, at least to the satisfaction of our city attorney. And we want to see what the city commission thinks about the contract. If you have any questions, we can answer. We actually brought along our IT expert, Captain Dustin Lockhart, because this is an IT issue, and I'm certainly not well versed on that. So if you have any questions to either Captain Lockhart or city attorney, me.
I wanted to just point out that we have a timeline to meet in terms of providing them with information and authorizations and so forth. And as Mark pointed out in his memo, there is a penalty if we create a substantial delay in that. Do we feel the people who will be providing the information and the authorizations, do we feel like we can meet those? Because the penalty is, I think it works out to a little over $500 a month for our failure, or for our creation of a material delay. So I just wanted to be sure we were comfortable with the
Yeah, do we
number
have
of days and so forth for the deliverables and,
I can make a comment on that.
okay.
How I see that is, Encode Plus is gonna count on us to get them the information so they can take that information and reorganize it. So I see, the city administration not having a problem with that. Probably our assistant city manager, city clerk would have her hands in that most, so I'd like to ask her if that's how you see this.
Yes, absolutely. I think this project is something that the team's been looking forward to, and we're grateful that the commission was interested to hear the goal come to this point. We're excited and we're grateful, and I don't see a problem with the timeline.
Thank you.
Great.
I did just point out that there is, like, I think it's just an error in Exhibit B, but there, at the bottom of the chart, it says total annual license and maintenance, $51,690. That's the total annual license and maintenance, that's the total license for the first year, not the annual maintenance. The annual maintenance is $3,700. So it's just the title of that line, I think, needs to be corrected to make sure that it's only the first year that we're paying $51,690, and it also would apply to the payment schedule below. That's only for the first year, just to clarify that. And then I pointed out too that the notice, our attorney notice is still, it says Dirk Beckerleg. We have to change that to Mark Roberts. And thank you, Mark, for the analysis. It was very helpful. I found that extremely helpful. I really appreciated that.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Any other questions regarding the contract? May I hear a motion to approve the amended contract, including the amendments just stated by Commissioner Buckley?
Move to approve.
I second it.
Those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries to approve the Encode Plus ordinance service contract.
Thank you, we appreciate that.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Commission will now hear city manager's comment.
Well, I wanted to briefly just, commend our chief, but I already did that. And also, if the commission would oblige me, I just wanted to mention Mark Roberts. So, our city attorney primarily works with me most of the time, really, because we're always looking at legal issues. So, I just wanted to say that, Mark was recommended by Dirk Beckerleg, and I'm happy he did. Mark's been with us now for 6 months, and since assuming the role of city attorney, he has been diligent, thorough, and committed to protecting the city's legal interests. He just completed this most recent review of contracts, and this is the type of work he does. It's very, very thorough, and he writes these reports like this. And to me, it's extremely helpful. I found that Mark's been consistent, and he works to ensure that our ordinances and procedures are applied properly and consistently. His work has strengthened our operations and given staff confidence in the legal foundation of our decisions. So I'm not sure if everybody knows this, but Mark's been doing this for over 30 years in a municipal situation. So I just wanted to, that fact is evident with my, working with him. And I believe primarily it's me and probably Amy that works with Mark the most. I think you feel the same.
Absolutely.
I just appreciate.
I think his role was
yeah.
important at the planning commission and zoning board too.
Yeah, Mark's gonna try to
That
find his
was
way
very
with the planning commission over time, I think. But I appreciate the commission obliging me with this, because you're not gonna know unless I tell you behind the scenes what's going on. Mark's a man of few words, but he is, I think his, you know, is just unassuming, thorough way about him has been very helpful for us. And I think he's going to do a great job for us, so I just wanted to mention that.
It's been 6 months. You're having so much fun. Time goes fast. Wow. That's amazing. Thank you.
Thank you for allowing me to mention Mark.
And we're getting better at the planning commission, huh?
Oh, yeah, you're doing fine.
You want him to answer that?
Yeah,
That's great, everything's fine.
and that's all I have.
Okay, does anyone have any other business they'd like to discuss?
I do, Mayor, if I may. It was interesting, we had, at the planning commission meeting today, we had some, 5 big issues, 5 big pieces of property and big houses and things like that. And, you know, they're building 10,000 square foot homes, and they're putting pools, and they're putting sports courts, and they're putting gazebos, and it's not just a home anymore. It's all these other structures. And after the meeting, a resident came up who was sitting. I noticed this couple back there. They didn't comment or anything, but they were just sitting there. And she came up and said, "I just want to say, we came here because they had bought 3 acres and they wanted to know what we look for, you know." And I thought that was great that they did that. But she said, "Please protect our city." And she said, "Please protect the open space, the 80-20. She said, you know, she goes, they're just throwing, she goes, keep our green space, keep, you know, the divisions between the properties and the big lots and everything. I don't know, I just wanted to share that because I thought it was really interesting that, you know, she didn't have an agenda item, she just wanted to see how we did things, but when she see these big things and the big lots, she you know, she's right.
I heard the tail end of the conversation, and she said, thank you for preventing a Bigfoot situation. And,
Yeah,
you know, it was nice to hear from a resident.
Yeah.
yeah.
The commission's doing their job.
Yeah, and then, I know I'm a broken record on this, Amy, but the, voting booth.
Yeah.
So, you know, I went to the neighborhood picnic and talked to people. I'm like, you know, you're not voting at Unitarian Church. And they're like, what? So how else are we going to let them know besides, I looked on the voter registration card, which I never look at.
Yep.
But I did see that, but I mean, I never look at that. So how else will we do it? Just be
Sure.
the voting day?
No, so the voter ID card is the requirement by law, so that's the absolute bare minimum, but as I mentioned last month, it's not all that we're gonna do. So I've put it on Facebook, it's on our website. There'll be an e-newsletter going out 3 times before Election Day, and then there's a direct mailing that will go out to everyone in the
Oh,
city.
good. Okay.
As well as someone will be stationed at the Congregational Church, which is where the precinct was, to direct people on Election Day if they were to, in case they show up to Congregational Church, and then we'll let them know where they need to go. There's going to be signage all over the Kingsley Hotel. They have been incredible in working with me because it's not a use that they're typically, you know, it's not what they're usually using their ballroom for. So we're gonna have signage in the parking lot, signage near the ADA compliant parking spaces, and then extra election workers stationed on the hallways to give people direction to the ballroom space. So I'm not considering this a permanent change. It's a change for this election.
Oh, okay.
And we'll evaluate it. I'll evaluate it next election year then and bring it to the city commission going
Given
forward.
the timing, does it make sense on the website to just have it be the first thing that pops up on the main? Instead of having to go to voting, you know, just some line that says, did you know your voting location might be changed?
Sure, yeah, I can
Or
good idea.
something.
find a way to
Really
make
good
Because
idea.
if someone's wondering, oh, I wonder where I vote, you know,
That's a good idea.
they're gonna go online first.
Mhm.
Try not to bother you.
Yeah, no, we're happy. If you vote absentee, you may have got your application for absentee ballot. So those have been sent, the application has been sent out. But the staff up front who usually are the first individual to take a phone call, they've all been notified on the change in location. So if they're talking to someone that's in that precinct, they're making a point to mention it to the resident too that they're speaking to. So I'm open to all suggestions, but I really want to make sure that the community knows. This is a very common thing to have to change a precinct location. It's just not common for Bloomfield Hills. So I understand.
As I say, Amy, I've been here 20 years. I've always voted at the same place.
Yeah, I was the one that changed it to the church because it used to be at Cranbrook. So that Cranbrook
Yes, I
location.
went to the Cranbrook Middle School,
Yes.
right on Vaughn there, right.
Okay.
originally.
And there's 2 parking spots there, so that's a horrible
That was
location
crazy,
to
yes.
have voting.
That whole horseshoe was a line of people going, oh,
Yes.
crazy, yeah.
Yeah.
So thank you for changing.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks for the question.
Yeah.
And I take all suggestions if there's other ideas.
So you're gonna think of where we would do it again next year if we don't do the Kingsley, right?
Yeah, I'm going to evaluate it because I think, as I had a conversation with you outside of this forum, but I did mention last month, there is the opportunity to consolidate into one precinct location. The issue that we have, it would be wonderful if everyone could come here to City Hall and vote. We cannot accommodate the parking. There are other compliant locations in the city, but we also have to have that location agree to let us use their space. And Election Day isn't convenient for a facility that may have a school, they may have class, or they may have there's other churches, they may have a preschool in their building that they don't want to cancel
Right.
preschool that day. So there's a lot of considerations. The Kingsley Hotel, it has, like I said, have been great to work with, so.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, great. Thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you
here.
very much
Thank
for all
you.
your hard work with the
Yeah.
voting and everything.
Thank you.
A lot of work, thank you. So this concludes our public portion of the city commission meeting. The commission will now enter a closed session to discuss union negotiations. This requires a roll call vote. I will call on each commissioner individually for their vote. Commissioner David Fisher.
Here.
Commissioner Susan McCarthy.
Here.
Commissioner Brad Baxter.
Here?
Commissioner Alice Buckley. Thank you. I'll let you know. So, there's no further business. I'd entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting. Thank you.